Graphing a parabola in the form y equals ax squared. We're going to graph the parabola. The first thing we want to do is find the vertex because you want 2 points higher and 2 points lower than the vertex to get a good parabola. So let me move this up a little bit. If there are no parentheses, the x value of the vertex is 0, and then the y value of the vertex is the constant at the end. But since there is no constant, a constant is a number without a letter attached to it. Since there is none, it's assumed to be a 0. So if there are no parentheses or no numbers at the end without letters, the vertex is 0, 0. So you want, like I said earlier, we're going to make an XY table. And you want that vertex to be in the middle. So you want 2 points higher and 2 points lower. Now when I'm calculating the vertex, I don't deal with the negative numbers, and I'll show you why in a moment. I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to do the 1 and plug it into this equation over here. So 1 squared, I'm sorry, wrote that backwards. So 1 squared equals 1. Now the reason I didn't deal with the negative is because a parabola is symmetrical, so one side looks like the other. So if this is 1, then the one above the 0 is also a 1. And I'm going to do 2 squared is 4, and I'm going to use symmetry for that as well. So those are the points that I want to graph. So negative 2, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 is here. Negative 1, 1, 0, 0, positive 1, 1, and positive 2, 4. And you'll have to excuse me because it's hard on this board to draw on the board. That is the parabola that we're looking for. So that's the graph of my parabola for this equation. Okay, the next one, y equals negative x squared. Now you got to be careful on this because the negative is not being squared. It's only the x value that's being squared. So that means all your answers are going to be negative once you calculate them. So the vertex, again, because there are no parentheses, the x value is 0, and because there's no constant, the y value is 0. So when I make my table, I'm going to put 0, 0 in the middle. That's my vertex. I'm going to do 2 numbers higher and 2 numbers lower. So I'm going to start with the positive values. So negative x squared, that's the same as negative 1 squared. Notice the negative is not being squared, it's just the one that's being squared. So that's going to equal 1 times 1 is 1. So that's going to be a negative 1, and because of symmetry, this one is also negative 1. Okay, so now I'm going to do negative 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4. So that's going to be a negative 4. And because of symmetry, the negative 2 is also negative 4. Those are my points that I graph. Negative 2, negative 4. Negative 1, negative 1. 0, 0. 1, negative 1. And 2, negative 4. And that will give me my parabola. Try to get the points connected, the dots connected. Okay. When there is a fraction, my vertex is still, the x value is 0 because there are no parentheses, and there's not a constant, a number without a letter stuck to it, so that's also 0. So all of these are 0, 0 because it's in the form y equals ax. Okay, so my vertex is 0, 0. The vertex is the turning point. Now I do want 2 numbers above it, but I'm going to use multiples of the denominator. So I'm going to use 2 and 4. And on the other side, I'll use negative 2 and negative 4. So I want to scale this grid and make the scales in terms of my denominator. So I'm going to make the x's and y's, each line equal to 2. And you can do that as long as you tell me what each one is. Okay, so starting with the 2, I've got 1/2 x squared So I'm going to put a 2 in for x. Two squared. So 2 times 2 is 4. You have to do exponents first. And half of 4 is 2. So this is 2, and if I'm using symmetry, the one above 0 is also 2. Now I'm going to do the 4. 1/2 4 squared. 4 times 4 is 16. And half of 16 is 8. So that means this one's 8 as well. So I'm counting by 2's on my scale. So -4, 8. This is 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8 is right here. -2, 2. -2, 2 is right here. 0, 0. +2, 2. And +4, 8. And that will be my parabola. It's very important when you're making a parabola that you don't make it like a V, make it like a U on the bottom, curve it, because if it's a V, it's an absolute value function, so that makes it totally different.